Hello guys, and all of us are watching very carefully the implementation of the peace plan. And of course, I'm not talking about Mar-a-Lago meetings, I'm talking about paralyzed aviation in Moscow, the capital of the Russian Federation. Because of the Ukrainian drones, they had to cancel more than 300 flights. And that is in a very active holiday season when rich Russians, maybe even Putin's friends, want to travel the world but cannot. And why? Because they failed with their so-called special military operation. And it returned not only to the bordering with Ukraine Russian regions, but to its capital, Moscow. What's more interesting, they decided to relocate at least 80 aircraft to other airports. Well, not because we could potentially damage them. They know Ukrainians never target civilian sites, but they are very, very protective of these leftovers. All because the sanctions and poor maintenance literally destroyed Russia's civilian aviation. And that is a big victory of Ukraine and its allies. But these cancelled flights, closed airports, and a lot of dissatisfied Russian reach is a very powerful message, especially just before the beginning of 2026. So let's discuss how these drone messages to the capital of the Russian Federation change the opinion of the apolitical Russians. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia together, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth. It has become a new normal. Ukrainian drones in dozens of the Russian regions. You don't read much about that because unfortunately international media is still very, very Russia-centered. And second, because we only target legitimate military sites and the Kremlin does not share this information because it exposes their vulnerability and inability to protect strategic sites. But when we are talking about cancelled flights, it's impossible to hide it because there are thousands, already hundreds of thousands of dissatisfied Russians and people who live in Moscow who literally experience it every other week. And that is a great change in the course of Putin's invasion that turned out into this Russian war too. Because somehow we forget at the beginning of 2022, people persuaded Ukrainians to surrender because we will fail, we cannot do nothing. But look at us now, destroying Russian oil industry, targeting military facilities and canceling flights. Not just 1 or 2, 300 flights were cancelled in Moscow. 80 aircraft relocated. So just imagine how much different things they had to do. It's all loud, it's all problematic, a lot of angry, dissatisfied oligarchs watching how they have to sleep on the floor in that airport. And why? Don't you think they ask questions why? Of course, they may say for the safety and security, but they realize because Ukrainian drones travel to some military sites nearby this airport, it's dangerous to fly around, and Putin and his gang cannot protect this airspace, cannot protect the borders of Russia, cannot protect their gas stations, cannot protect their refineries. That is what Russians understand. And in this context, I clearly do not understand how the White House keeps speaking about the invincibility of Russia when literally on the day of this very unnatural negotiations in Mar-a-Lago, Moscow has 300 flights cancelled. Just imagine a similar situation in Washington, London, or Paris. It would be all over news, that would be sensational, and Moscow pretends it's okay. And it repeats week after week. And with long-range drones, with long-range missiles, we can actually do more. And honestly, with all my desire for peace, I understand it's only possible after the defeat of the Russian Federation. Because if Putin is appeased, if he's praised with forgiveness with some Ukrainian territories, he will definitely take it as a green light and continue to other countries and Ukraine, which he wants to add to the failed concept of the USSR. And I'm sure that China may act synchronically to distract the attention of the world, to cause chaos, problems, and undermine this strength of NATO and many other things. So our task right now is to see the truth about Russia. Its weakness is fully exposed, even in these 300 cancelled flights alone. That's a lot. That's what happens in the Russian capital that was once described as the strongest fortress in the world, the capital of the biggest country in the world, the capital of these FSB agents, 25-year-long ruler of Kremlin Putin, a nuclear state, and they cannot protect it because Russia is the weakest ever and the poorest ever, and Russia is no more a superpower. And I have a new video on Anna Danilchuk channel which tells more about that. And if you, just like me, believe that drones are the best negotiators, do support our new NAFO campaign together with this amazing 69 Sniffing Brigade. But this time, among the units we want to support is one Lubert from my native town. That is a huge, really strong, successful Lubert brigade, and I'm super honored that together we may help them get the truck and drones that will keep implementing the only working peace plan. And honestly, this campaign has the best patches ever. Do check the first pinned comment, and if you want to create some beautiful holiday presents, that is one of the best options. So honestly, let me know in the comments below, what do you expect from these Mar-a-Lago negotiations? I don't see any logics while Ukraine negotiates with the United States about Russia's war. I do not believe it will bring us anything good. It may either end in another ambush for President Zelensky, because before this meeting, Trump had a call with Putin, I don't know why, to synchronize their actions or something. And if you have counted just as many X accounts did, it seems to me that Ukraine agreed on 6 different proposals coming from the White House about peace, ceasefire, truce, and so on. And the Kremlin denied all of them, but still Ukraine is treated as the evil one. It's total absurd. I just don't want to concentrate on that, but I want to know what are your thoughts in the comments. I will read them very carefully. That will be my kind of psychotherapy. Love you very much. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels. Do check our merch shop. The link is in the description of this video. Same as links to X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord. Find me there. Follow me there. Let's remain united literally on every social platform. This matters. And this changed the public opinion. Let's shift this Moscow-centered paradigm to the Kyiv-centered one. Love you. United we stand. Slava Ukraini.